final execution of our test. So here we can store the record of our execution, and if we want, we can generate the report from here. So first I'll talk about execution list, this folder, and what is the purpose of other elements present here in this section. I'll tell you later. So here under this execution list folder, we will be executing. Normally we would do all the execution under this execution list folder. So if you see under execution list folder, we can create execution list under which we can have as much as test case we want to have. So I can right click on the execution list folder and I can create one execution list under which I can add the test cases. For example, login and registration. I have created one execution list. Okay, login. I created one execution list with login. So under this, I can add the test cases which are related to this login. So for that, I can drag and drop the test case to that. Or another way is directly dragging and dropping over the execution list folder will create the execution list automatically. When I drag and drop any test case over it, the new execution list will be created automatically. So I can rename it now, and I can add some more test cases also under this execution list, and I can execute. Then another thing is I can drag and drop as the folder, as the test case folder. I can drag and drop it to the execution section. Okay, I'll drop it over login. So it will be added like this. All the test cases under the folder will be added to that execution list. So you can drag and drop as test case, or you can drag and drop as test case folder. And one advantage while you drag and drop as folder is, so for example, here I have dragged and dropped as folder price comparison. So yeah, we were executing in Scratchbook. So we will be executing directly in test case. So that is for temporary purpose. Okay. Like in order to check if that test cases we are creating is working fine or not. Yeah, we'll drag and drop. So in execution, it's kind of final execution. If you're done with all the test cases, you will be doing the final execution in the execution section. Okay. So before that, once you create one, test type or test case, in order to verify the test case you have created is working well. Not even the test case. Sometimes you will be doing some logical thing, right? Like entering some mathematical expression or doing some logical thing. So that time, anyway, you would be needed to run the test case first, whether if that logical thing is working fine or not. So normal test case also you don't need to do run it in Scratchbook while you are working fine with Tosca that time. But initial stage, in order to get to know the test case is working fine or not, you will be running it in Scratchbook. So after doing that, the final execution will be like all the test cases will be you will be running right for the one time. So that final execution will be in execution section. So the thing is, in Scratchbook we will not get any log of your execution, but in execution section you can store up your execution log.
Okay.
Okay, so we can drag and drop a test case and folder. So while dragging and dropping a folder, the one advantage is, so I have dragged and dropped the price comparison folder, and now I'm making some, I'm creating one test case within that folder. Okay, I just created one test case. So in that time, what I can do is I can right click and use the option synchronize. So it will be added automatically here while I'm dragging and dropping a folder. So if you are making any changes within the test case, you don't need to do anything, and the changes will be automatically reflected here in the execution section. But if you are doing any changes at folder level, make sure you are doing the synchronize thing, or you should manually drag and drop or use the synchronize option. What next? Okay, so these are the things we have to do while adding the test cases from test case section to execution section. And after adding, you can see we will see all this thing. So after executing, we can capture all this detail. What is the value present in the step value, action mode, log info, if it is passed or failed, start time, and how much time it takes. So all these details we will get in the execution section. If any detail about that particular test case will be captured after execution. So in order to execute here, the same thing, you can use F6, shortcut F6 or this run option. And we have two options under this run, so you can directly click on this run, or under this drop down we have two options, run from here, which means you have executed of the way in test case, of the way in folder. So, in execution list you have executed of the way, so that time you can use run from here, so it will not run from the starting. And run as manual test case means, so you have to click on this run as manual test case, and all the test steps for this comparing price for value for blue jeans will be uh, you will be doing, like manually you will be doing, and finally it will ask you if it is passed or failed, and you have to select the option. If it is passed or failed, you have to manually do it. So that is the option. So run from here means it will be automatically run from the test case which you have selected, and run as manual test case means you have to do the test case manually, and you have to give the log about the test case that you have done. And
Okay.
set as result means, so sometimes uh, the test case is correct only. The test case would be correct but due to something, it may get failed due to some intermittent issue or something. You would be getting it as failed. So that time, if you want to change the result to past, you can change it to past, and it will ask you the command. So here you can enter the command about why you are changing it to past. So I am giving like intermittent error. So we can manually set the result for any test case. Or if you want to change it to failed, or you can change, or if you want to change it to no result, you can change, and uh, you can give the command, and in log info it will be coming like manually set to past, or manually set to fail, or manually set to no result. And if you have entered the command, it will be coming under this. If you have not entered any command, it will be blank. And what else? Yeah. Okay. So once you're done with the execution, so we can generate the report from here in the execution section. So I'll tell you about that. So now we are generating the login execution list. Okay. So we're generating the report for this login. So just right click on the execution list, and you can see print report option. So okay, I'm getting to. Okay. I guess the options are duplicated. Okay. So there will be four options. So here the options are duplicated for me. I'm not sure. I'm getting this for first time. Okay. So here, if you are okay, fine. I'll check it later. I guess for you it will be correct. The four options only will be visible. Okay. So we'll have four options. So first one is execution entries with actual log. So actual log in the sense, so here you can see one element called actual log. So here you will get the log info of how many test cases passed and how many test cases failed. So in that report, if you are generating using this option, execution entries with actual log, so in that report you will get all the uh, test te- all the count of test cases which are passed and failed. And execution entries with actual log and issues means, so along with the actual log you will get the issues also if any of the test cases is failed, and the issue for that test case will be added to this report if I'm generating using this option. And execution entries with detailed log means all the, not only the log info, not only the how many test cases passed and failed, Along with that, I'll be getting all the details, like each and every test step values will be present there. Uh, all the details will be coming up in the detailed log. And execution list with archive logs and actual logs. So archive log means, so you can see here I'm getting one option, archive actual execution log. So if I'm using that, this actual log will be archived. And so if I'm using this option, execution list with archive logs and actual logs, so that archived logs also will be coming up. For other things, if I have archived the log, it will not be coming up. But for this option, archive logs and actual logs, all the archived logs info also will be captured in the report. That these are the different options available when we are trying to print the report. 1 minute. So now I'll be showing you up. Okay. I'll make one. Okay. So here we have one test case passed and one test case failed. So I'll generate for this execution list. Okay. Normally, I prefer to go with detailed logs. So based on your necessary, you can generate the report. So if I'm using this execution entry with actual log, yeah, it's loading actually. The report is being generated, I guess. So now I got the window print options. So if you want any hard copy and if you have the printer, you can select change the option. So here I'm going to generate the report in PDF format. So pages all. So I'm giving start option. So here you can give the name for the report, and wherever you want to store it up, you can select the folder. Uh, I have entered the name as actual log and I'm giving save. Okay, it will be open. So it is the report we generated now. I'll show you. So it's showing the execution summary. So total test cases and how many passed and how many failed, and a chart for that. So this is yeah, here it's showing like which test case failed. So under the details and the detail about the failed test case also has been captured. And I'll show you the detailed report which I downloaded already. How it would look and okay. So the detailed report, if you are generating, it will have the actual log. It will have the details which actual log does have, and it will have each and every test steps here. No matter if it is passed or failed, all the test step values will be present here in the detailed report. All the details will be here. So how much time it waited, everything will be captured in the detailed log report. What else? So any question till now? This is detailed report and this is now we generated actual report. So in here we will see only the actual log, how many passed and how many failed. Okay. And for each test case, we have the details about that. Like for the failed one, it has been showing the error. What is the error it got while running. Okay. Here for past one also it's saying the detail about the test configuration parameter. So if you see here you can see log info, right? So that is what it's showing up here in the report. So in the report which we are generating using actual log, only these details will be captured. In detailed report, you can see all the test step values also present. Each and every steps where we are clicking, whatever input we are giving, all the details will be coming up. Okay. Okay. What else? Okay. So this is how we'll be doing the execution in execution section only. So apart from this execution list folder, we have some other elements here. So I'll tell you about what I'm not getting. Come again. Once again. Yeah. I guess we have that option, but I'm not sure if it is will be working. Okay, I'll check and I'll tell you. I guess there is an option, but in trial version, I guess it would not work. But I'll tell you tomorrow in next session. Okay. Then exploratory testing thing. So in this element, what we can do is we can schedule a call with your team members. So with our team members, we can schedule a call, testing team members. And in the call, we will be doing the exploratory testing. So exploratory testing, I guess you know already, right? So we would do some extra research in the scenario, in particular functionality. We will be doing extra testing, extra scenario. We will be trying to cover that. So we will have the meeting with our test team members, and we'll be trying to do some exploratory test scenarios, testing the exploratory test scenario in that call. And at the end of the call, you will be getting the a report of that whatever you have done. Um, you can import some result and at the end of the call. So that's the purpose of this experiment. 1 minute, someone. So, so basically, we will have some meeting or a meeting scheduled using this create object thing, and we'll be doing the exploratory testing along with your team members. And at the end of the meeting, you'll get the result of that meeting. So that is the thing. And interactive testing means, so again, you will do the interactive testing, which means you will have the call with your team members, and you will divide the test cases from one project among your team members, and you people will be doing the execution on that call. So in the same call, you will be executing the testing along with your team members. So that is interactive testing. And test events and configuration. So this configurations thing is related to this test events. So test events means, so here in Tosca, there is one functionality called distributed test execution, which means, so if you are working in multi-user environment. So if you are working in multi-user environment, so that time you will have access to all the projects in the repository, right? So if you are working in the multi-user environment, so that time we can use that functionality distributed test execution, which means at the same time you can execute the created test cases uh, in the desktop of your team members. So at the same time, you can execute the test cases, execute the project that you have created from your team members' desktop. So that is the functionality of Tosca distributed execution, test execution. In short form, they would call it as DTE. So that time, if you are working with DTE, so that time the test events. So in which system which test cases should be run, and all those things will be created under test events, and you will start running the test case. So at the same time, different test cases will be executed in the different system. So that is one functionality you can explore if you are working in the multi-user environment. So these are the different elements apart from execution list are present. So which are additional thing, and normally we would execute in the execution list folder. Okay. Okay. So then we'll move to requirement section. Okay. So requirement section uh, is mainly uh, helpful for us to track the testing progress. So whatever we have done till now, whatever we have to do it. So all those things will be tracked in the requirement section. So normally it would be more like the manual, uh, uh, whatever will be doing in the manual testing also. So there also we will have one requirement thing, maybe in Excel sheet or some other tool. You will have all the requirements which are related to that application, right? So same like that, with some extra functionality we will have that requirements. So we'll start. So under requirements, this is the root folder. So under that we can create the folder if we want. So I'm giving the name of it as login and registration. So I have created one folder with login and registration. So these folders, right? So it will be arranged automatically in alphabetical orders. It will be arranged automatically in alphabetical orders. So if you want it to be in some order, you just enter you just enter some numerical values before that folder while creating. Otherwise, it will be automatically arranged into alphabetical order. So for now, I have not entered any numbers, so that's fine. So we have created one folder. Under that folder, we can create the requirement set. So this is the requirement set. So requirement set means under this requirement set, we can have the all the requirements which are related to this particular requirement set. So requirement set, we can define it as different functionality that are present in our application. So for example, we are focusing on login and registration. So I can create one requirement set for login. So login is a separate functionality of the demo web shop application, right? So I have created one requirement set for login, and I can create one requirement set for registration. So registering for new user is another functionality of demo web shop. So I can create the one requirement set for registration. And now these are requirement sets. So under this requirement sets, I can have all the requirements which are related to that particular functionality. So for login, we will have other requirements like logging in with valid users, logging in with invalid users. So all those are different test cases or different requirements which we will be testing for that application, right? So all those requirements we can add under this requirement set login. So under this requirement set, I can create the requirement again by right clicking and selecting the create requirement. So for example, I have one requirement like logging in with valid user credential, and another requirement like logging in with invalid circulation. So under invalid we will have other scenarios also. What else? Can change it to user very fast. Okay, for now I have added 3 requirements. So for registration I will be adding some 2 registering for new user. Registering for existing user. So in this way, we can create the requirements for the requirement set. So for each requirement, so in the right side, if you see, we can give the description, which means so if you want to add some more comment about the particular requirement. Um, for example, sometimes we will have all the steps about the particular requirement, right? So you can add any if you have any extra comment, so you can add under the description. You can have anything. So then we have some other elements here. So I'll tell you one by one. So the first one is frequency class. So frequency class means so um, we will be giving the frequency class and damage class both are user defined. So we will be giving the value to them. So frequency class means so out of 10 we can give the value. So the range may come from 2 to uh, 2 to 10. Sorry, 1 to 10. So 1 to 10 we can give any value. Um, so frequency class means it's based on how frequent you are going to use that particular requirement. So uh, based on how frequent you are going to use that requirement, you can enter the frequency class out of 10. Or you can enter the value out of 10. So or if you are limiting it to 1 to 5. So if like the maximum limit is 1 to 10. So if you want to enter out of 5 and enter the values out of 5, you can enter the values out of 5 for all the requirements which are under this project. So if you want to enter the value out of 10, you can enter the value out of 10 for all the project. But if you are entering out of 5, you have to enter the value out of 5 for all the requirements which are present in this project. So if you are entering out the value out of 5 for some requirement, and if you are entering the value out of 10 for some requirement, that would be some miscalculation. So if you are entering uh, setting the limit as okay, I'll be entering out of 5, you just enter the value for out of 5 for all the requirements which are present in this project. So you can set it as 5 or 10, because 10 means the values will be very big. So 5 means it will be very less. So anyway, either way we can go with anything. So for now I'm entering out of 5. Okay, out of 10 also we can enter. So the maximum thing is 10. So frequency class for this particular requirement logging in with valid user credential. So most of the times I guess we will be using that. So I'm giving the value as out of 5. I'm giving like 4. And damage class. So damage class means if that particular requirement is getting failed, how how much it's going to affect the financial risk of the client. So based on uh, how much it's going to affect the finance of the client, we will be entering the damage class. So for example, if this particular requirement is getting failed, how much it would cost the client. So if we are not able to log in, so we will not be able to check it or anything. So it will be like the showstopper, right? So maybe the damage for this requirement is I guess. So we can give the value like again 4 or something. So based on how it's going to affect the finance of the client when it is failed, when if this requirement is not working, we will be entering the damage class. So in this way, we will be entering the value for frequency class and damage class. So you can see weight and contribution percentage will be auto calculated based on the frequency class and damage class we are entering here. So the formula for weight is 2 power addition of frequency class and damage class. So 2 power 8. So where the weight is 256 here. So the contribution is calculated based on how it will be calculated. It will, okay, I'll be entering the value for these 3 test cases and I'll go to the contribution percentage. So that next test case is logging in with invalid username and valid password. So guys, frequency is very less. We will not be, I guess only one time we will be doing the test. So I'm entering the frequency class as low, which is 1, and damage class. So if the invalid username and valid password, if it gives some damage, I guess it's also affect the it will also um, affect the client in some level. So I'm giving like 3 for this. And frequency class for valid username and invalid, again it's like a very low frequency. And damage class will be maybe valid username. As it is valid username, maybe it's like not much. I'll be giving damage class as 2. So we have given frequency class and damage class values. And weight has it has been calculated 2 power 3 8, 2 power 4 16. And contribution. So contribution will be calculated based on um, weight divided by total weight. Total weight in the sense 256 plus 16 plus 8 total weight. Weight divided by total weight int 100%. So that will be the formula for contribution percentage. So each has been calculated with the weight and contribution percentage. So this is what we have to do in the requirement section. So coverage specified and execution state. So these two columns will be calculated after we are linking the test case and the execution list to the requirement section. So we have the option to link our test case with the requirement and the execution list to the requirement. We have the option here. So based on that, these two columns will be calculated. Coverage specified. So I'll tell you what to call about two columns. So tomorrow we will see about how to link the test case and execution set to the requirement. So coverage specified means so after linking the test case, so it will show up the percentage of how much we have covered. So how much we have so how much we have covered related to that requirement. So in test case section, how much we have covered in related to the requirement section. So for this requirement, how much test case creation, how much progress for this particular test case for particular requirement has been done. So that will be captured in coverage specified. And execution state means so um, how much has been passed or how much has been failed, how much has yet to be executed. All those details will be captured in the execution state column. So this is related to test case coverage and this is related to execution state. So tomorrow I'll tell you about how to link the test case to the requirement section and execution set to the requirement section. And after linking, how we can track the details uh, from the linked elements.
Okay.
Any questions from frequency class, damage class for these four details?
No.
Okay. So actually, it's automatically calculated for me as I've changed some settings here, settings in my project. Otherwise, you have to manually change it. So I'll show you that option here. So if you go to settings, so normally by default you have to there will be one option where you have to right click and you have to select the option start calculation something. So in order to do the calculation automatically, we have to change the settings. So I'll show you that. Time box at 15 minutes left. Okay. So this is the settings window. So I'm searching for Commander General. So under Commander folder, General Advanced. So you can see auto calculate requirements. So I've set it as on. So by default it will be off. So if you want to change, you can change. So you just search for calculate and it will be coming this option. So you can change it to on. So if you want to automatically calculate the uh, weight and contribution. So otherwise you can see update values. So you have to click on this manually every time you make some change in frequency class and damage class.